So, of all the stories and journeys we've had and curated over the last 10 years, and we've seen some really incredible things, the story of this specific car has to be one of the greatest. It's a story of faith, it's a story of hope, it's a story of sort of never giving up. And you look at the human spirit, and this resilience sort of lives in this car. And whether you believe in energy or not, this car has it. It's got something special about it. We could go back in time to 1992, 1993. I remember when Michael Jordan was retiring, I actually started to cry as a kid. I was a massive Chicago Bulls fan. I was a massive Michael Jordan fan. About 10 years ago, maybe a little bit less, maybe it was 7 years ago, a really good client of ours, we were just talking about things that we liked, and I was talking about how I'm a big Jordan fan. He was talking about he was a big Jordan fan, and he loved the concept of Jordan being always present and never giving up, and the idea that Jordan would show up in these disastrous moments always and come back and win, and it was just this triumph. And I felt the same. I had always this great appreciation that, when you put on your Michael Jordan shoes, anything was possible because Michael Jordan made it seem like anything was possible. And even today, I think that's what makes this story so cool. When you think of icons in history that are still relatable, Michael Jordan and the Air Jordan brand, my kids wear Jordans and think they're invincible. So the spirit of his greatness continues to live on. Jordan also today and then had the most incredible taste and collection of cars. There's some great photos and videos of Michael Jordan driving a 930 Turbo Slant Nose, a 993 Turbo S, a 550 Maranello, and most importantly, a black Ferrari 512 TR. Now, what's so interesting about this Ferrari 512 TR is it was famously photographed with Jordan a lot. He owned it from 1992 up until 1995. So in a really, I would say, a weird moment of his life. He's winning his three-peat championships, an important moment. It was actually photographed famously outside the Knicks game at the Chicago Arena. So you've got this famous photograph and securities around it, and it's his license plate M-Air-J, and that was in 1992. And then obviously he wins the championship. It's the first three-peats, I think, since the Lakers in the 1960s. So a big triumph. Then the passing of his father, him leaving the NBA, and then obviously joining the NBA again. So this car, lived in an important moment of his life and a telling moment of his life as well. We always had this, sort of joke that I was going to find that car one day. And I've always had this wish list, and there's a list of cars, and every time I go back to the wish list, there's the Jordan car, and we thought we had some leads, and over the years I've tried to chase it. We knew the VIN, it'd been sold at Barrett-Jackson, but really after the sale at Barrett-Jackson, the Jordan 512 TR had disappeared. About 3 years ago, we actually were down a lead, and we thought we had found the car. There was some parts online, Fur Parts, the famous Ferrari parting company. They buy these wrecked Ferraris and they sell them in parts. Someone at there actually made a claim that they had parted out the black gray 512 TR many years ago, and I freaked out. I went to their website and I actually found a bunch of gray interior pieces from a 512 TR, and I found some black exterior pieces, and I was like, oh my god, we gotta buy all the parts, save what's left. We ended up reaching out to them. We got that VIN. It was not the car, so it was mistaken. They were incredibly helpful, which massive thank you to them. And we were relieved, I will say. We thought we found it. We thought it was in pieces, and we were very relieved. But still, there was no sign of the car. It hadn't been registered in years and really sort of disappeared. We had put up ads. We were looking for it. And fast forward, a young guy on our sales team, Gabe, claims that he met someone that swears they have the car. And this person was very discreet. He was just feeding us a few pictures, details. And I start freaking out. I'm like, we gotta buy it, we gotta buy it, we gotta buy it. We make one offer, we make another offer, and we start raising our offer. And really, it wasn't about, at this point, it wasn't about making money. It was like fulfilling this commitment to, a fellow entrepreneur, someone that started with nothing and has now built this incredible life and collection. We always talked about, okay, I'm gonna make this dream happen. And it was very committed to the idea of that. So I started telling him, hey, I think I found it. We're negotiating. He's like, oh my God, this is so crazy. In that process, this gentleman that had this car. It was being very discreet. He'd send us, he said he was restoring it, and he'd send us interior photos. He'd send us exterior photos, but like these teasers. And finally, one day, he agrees to sell. So we write up a contract. We're ready to go. I asked for a copy of the title. Now, I had always known the VIN of the car, so on our contract, it had the VIN of the Jordan TR. And I said, let me just look at the title. And I look at the copy of the title. Wait a minute. That's not the VIN of the Jordan car. It was like I got punched in the gut. I mean, I can't tell you how, depressed I was. It was like, how have I been chasing this car for so long? I've been getting these teaser photos. It's been months and months and months. And then boom, it's not even the real car. So, the whole sales team was there. Herschel from our team, he could see the pain inside of me. And that's one of the things I love about Curated is we're like a family. He committed to me at that moment. He goes, I'm finding that car this week. And I'm like, and listen, whenever you go into business with people you love, you do things for your friends and family. And you could tell at that moment he was committed to finding that car for me. Hearing Herschel tell me that he was getting the car that week was like, game 6 of the NBA championship. And Jordan, saying, give me the ball. I'm going to go get this shot before the buzzer, time's run out, and winning the championship. He started making some phone calls. He called this person. He called that person. He called some people in California. And we ended up with a last name. And that's all we had. Right away, I Googled the last name, California, this, that, and a name pops up. I'm like, I wonder if this is the person. Under that name, there's a bunch of phone numbers. We start calling the phone numbers one by one, and each it's a landline, it's dead. It's a landline, it's dead. It's a landline, it's dead. I think it was like the 8th or 9th number we call, and it rings. And Herschel's on the phone, and I'm on the edge of my seat. And he gets a voicemail, and he leaves a message, I think you might have a car. And within maybe 5 or 10 minutes, he gets a phone call back. It's an older woman, you can hear. And he says, I think you may have this car. We thought we were buying it, but we think we were being scammed. We think you own this car. Would you be interested in selling? And she says, yes, it's my husband's car. I know it's the Michael Jordan car. We could be interested in selling. So I'm jumping up and down. I'm freaking out. I'm like, oh my God, how did we find it? And I knew it was real at that point. I was like, there's no way that all of this happened. And now we're talking to someone that they're verifying it's the car. We start to get photos and we start to hear the story. And that's when it really hits me. Now, before we jump into the last owner's story, we have to also jump into the second owner's story. What's so interesting about this car is it leaves Michael Jordan, but then it's sold to Chris Gardner. And if you know anything about Chris Gardner is the gentleman that the movie, The Pursuit of Happiness, which is spelt wrong, happy is spelt wrong, happiness, is inspired by his life journey. And it's a guy, you've got to watch the movie. It's very inspirational. He's basically homeless with a young boy, his son. He's just trying to make ends meet. And he ends up building this incredible career in the finance world. And it's just a beautiful story of just hope and all these different things. And ends up, true story, Chris Gardner, in this dark moment for him in the early days of his career, sees a red Ferrari. And a guy gets out and he asks the guy, man, how did you get that? And the guy tells him, I'm a stockbroker. And that ended up inspiring Chris Gardner to go into finance, become a stockbroker, and become extremely successful. So what does Chris Gardner do? He goes out to Lake Forest Sports Cars and buys Michael Jordan's used 512 TR, the black car. So he ends up in Chicago driving this car. He basically drives it all the time. The funny part about it was he actually drove it around with a license plate, not MJ. I think people are confusing him. I think they look a little bit alike. And we're probably confusing him for Michael Jordan. So he drives around the plate, not MJ, for many, many years. He shared some great stories about that. So fast forward to the last and current owner. This is a gentleman that was at the Barrett-Jackson auction in 2010. He was there bidding on an Aston Martin. His dream was an Aston Martin like the one from James Bond. He's bidding on the car. He loses the car. And he's so upset and up pulls this black Ferrari. He's like, okay, well, I'm not going home empty-handed. I'm going to bid on the car. He wins the car. Well, every night around like 6 or 7 p.m., he jumps in the car and he takes the car for a ride. And that's his way to like meditate after work every day. Well, within months of buying the car, he's diagnosed with terminal cancer. So what he does is he parks the car, he covers the car, it's sitting outside, and he fights cancer. Terminal cancer number 1, he fights it, he wins. He gets diagnosed with terminal cancer for a second time. Second diagnosis, he fights it, he wins. He gets diagnosed a few years later again. Terminal cancer, he's being told again. He fights it and he wins. Now, in this time, this car's been sitting outside, parked under a cover, and he's not focused. He's not thinking about a black Ferrari. He's thinking about his life. He's thinking about fighting for his life. And, I'm hearing this story at this point, and I'm getting emotional. I'm like, this is crazy. This car, this guy's fighting for his life. He survives, and he says, you know what? I'm at a point in my life now. The poor car's been sitting. I'd love to drive it, but it's been sitting. It doesn't run. Come out to California, come see it. It's your car if you want it. So Herschel flies. He lands in California, and he's driving, and he realizes quickly that he's driving through a neighborhood where one house is burned down. There's one house standing. There's 3 houses burned down. There's one house standing. There's a whole block burned down. And he's like, oh my God, I'm in the direct hit of these terrible, disastrous fires, and I'm here to go pick up a car. What he realizes is that there's one house standing, there's one car outside under this car cover, and this is the only house in this entire area that survived. And he realizes at that moment that this car somehow, after all these years sitting outside under cover, and then of the devastating California fires, survives these fires. So he starts telling me this story, and I'm just like, this can't get even crazier than this at this point. Uncovers the car. Obviously, it needs everything. The car's been sitting outside for years, but there it is. We purchased the car. We bring it home to Miami, and today we're super excited. We'll be sending it back to Italy. We're going to restore the entire car back in its birthplace. It'll go through the factory facility where they paint all the cars, and it will be born again. It'll be saved. When you think of the symbolism of Michael Jordan's three-peat, him owning the car, and then you think of this person, this human, that, what an impact to us that this man, this sweet man, has beat cancer 3 times. He is indefinitely part of this car's life. He will be joining us in Miami to drive it for the first time once it's back. And if it wasn't for him, we wouldn't have this car today.
If you get a ticket, the first thing you should do is text a picture of it to 305-305. That will get the ticket clinic on your case immediately. You'll be facing costly fines, risks of suspension, possible jail time, points on your license, higher insurance premiums, and a lot of bad things that they can help you to avoid. You can also find them at the link in the description below, but the Ticket Clinic is a nationwide law firm with brick and mortar offices in Georgia, Florida, and California, but they've got attorneys everywhere, and that's what's most important, because a local attorney will know exactly how the local laws work, know the people who are in charge, and get you the best outcome possible. So text a picture of your ticket to 305-305 or click the link in the description below to fight your ticket with the Ticket Clinic.